Hello, everyone. I'm Greg Giglio, principal of Homestead High School, and I'm here with another edition of our weekly video message. This is the one for Friday, this is September 2nd. So welcome to September. We've made it past the first 2 weeks of school. It's been a great first couple of weeks. We're hoping to keep that good feeling going all year long. But here we are with our next edition of our video. So starting off with our shout outs and recognitions. Again, if you fill out the survey, please put some names in there, people you think are doing a great job or did something nice or just deserve a little recognition. So hopefully to get in here and see a few more of those getting sent out. They can be staff members, they can be students, they can be community members, sometimes parents or volunteers, that kind of thing. You can let us know. Happy to shout out recognition for them. So here's a couple that came out this week. We have a new attendance clerk. Her name is Damaris Yamas, actually. She's replacing Rita Figueroa, who retired after several years here. And so we're really sad to see Rita go, but we're super happy to have Damaris. She is amazing. And so we're really glad to have an experienced attendance clerk coming in and filling in now. We also want to send our best wishes home to Helen Carlson, our business teacher. She's going to be, after today, on maternity leave with her second child. And so congratulations to her and her family. And we'd like to welcome her long-term sub, Ben Pham, who is an experienced business teacher and somebody who has done a lot of FBLA work. So if you know Ms. Carlson and her FBLA work, there's going to be no slippage there. So it's going to be really nice to have that transition. Moving into some of our questions and concerns, there was a question about what are some of the advisory topics coming up. Here is a list of them and the dates that we have them scheduled for right now. One of the questions was also, can we do one about teen suicide? And we have done suicide prevention advisories in the past. We don't have one that's, as you'll notice as you're reading through the topics here, that says specifically teen suicide, but the ones that have the stars with them, those are the ones that our district mental health team are working on. And those are, a lot of them are talking about dealing with stress, coping strategies, positive self-awareness, that kind of stuff. So it does sort of go into that suicide prevention, but it doesn't specifically talk about them. One of the ones that's probably sticking out to you there is the October one, where it says the impact of Roe versus Wade. What I should also tell you is some of the ones that are not starred are going to be done by our students. And so this was a topic that was brought up by some of our students who are working with some folks in and around the community. Not necessarily, again, having a debate about the pros and cons of pro-life or pro-choice, but it's really more the idea of kind of what is behind sort of this decision and the impact of Roe versus Wade. Why is it a big deal? Why has this been, an issue that has polarized people? So it really is kind of looking into the background of it. So again, not really here to persuade people one way or the other, but just, again, wanted you to be aware of that one. And again, I think the other ones are pretty self-explanatory. And for those of you who may not be familiar with our advisory program, it's something we've been doing for several years now. And we do 10 of these a year, once a month. Basically, we have the right to kind of pull everyone together and do a community learning. Sometimes it's things like on social emotional learning. Sometimes it's honoring some of the communities, different diversity that's in our community here on Homestead. Sometimes it's giving kids, information and just topics that we get based on some of their interests. So that's what this one's here. So if you have any questions on these, please let me know. Happy to answer other questions, but you want to pause and take a look at that and write those dates down. But those should start being listed in Schoology now. So folks should know all the way, until May what they're doing. There was a rather longer question, so I sort of paraphrase this one about some concerns about the stadium lights turning off at 8:30 at night on weeknights when there's not a game, and is this a safety issue? And so what some people may not know is that our stadiums didn't used to have stadiums, first of all, up to about 15 years prior to that. But when we built the new stadiums, we did put in lights, and as part of that, we came up with an agreement when we were talking with all of our neighbors, because that is, we want to be good neighbors, and it's hard to live next to a high school anyway because of all the noise and traffic. But having those stadium lights blaring into your backyard or something, some people are a little disconcerted about that. So we came up with some agreements about our usage. We obviously have to have time to practice, time to have games, so people were aware of that, but we're trying to be good neighbors. We have an agreement that during the week they are off by 8:30. On a night like a football game, they're on until about 10 or 10:30. But so again, that's meant to try and be, working within our schedules, working within the needs of our students, but also needs of our neighbors. But there are safety lights around campus. So when you come on campus, there should be a variety of lights that turn on. They are on an automatic timer. And so we do have to adjust them as the sun starts to set earlier or later. But if you're walking around campus one night and you're like, hey, it was really dark, we couldn't see, or this whole bank seemed to be off, please let us know. because again, it is an automatic timer. No one's going through and automatically turning them on. We do have people on campus, like our custodians are here tonight, so they may notice it and they'll try to adjust it. But sometimes they may be inside a building or working on a project somewhere else, and so they may not see it. But if you want to let your coach know, let another staff member know, or email, you can even use the survey and say, hey, last night the A building lights weren't on. Can someone take a look at that? And we'll definitely do that. Or just contact a custodian if you see one here on campus. Question about this new Omicron specific vaccine coming out, and would Homestead be a place where people can get that vaccination? In the past, we have done some vaccine. We were a vaccine site. It was very successful. We were really happy to provide that service. We're more than happy to do that again. We haven't been contacted by anybody to do that. So we don't have any plans at this point, but again, if they come contact us again and there's need, we'll definitely do that. I know that there has been a sort of shift in the vaccination process. Rather than having big vaccination sites, they're asking people to go into places like their doctors or CVS's or drugstores, Walmarts, that kind of thing. So I don't know if that's going to be the directions for this or not, but we haven't been contacted yet. But again, if you're one of those folks that are, has to do something with organizing vaccinations, you can contact us. We're happy to try and do that. And while we're talking about COVID, just as a reminder, we are moving into sort of a different direction. It's still out there. We are still urging people to, be safe and to wear masks if you want to, although you can definitely see that people are, being a little more comfortable with being out and about, and that we're starting to do more in-person kinds of things. But again, we will not be doing any on-campus testing, but we do have at-home tests. You can come to the office and pick those up. If your student has a concern or you have a concern, just let us know, and we'll give those out to staff and the students. We will send out every Friday that community message saying, here's the number of people that may or may not have positive this year or this week. So last week we had 8. I haven't got the numbers yet. We'll see where that is today. But again, just so that you're aware and you can make some decisions. Again, we did expect a bigger number at the beginning of the year because people coming from traveling from all different places. And we're hoping that number starts to shrink again a little bit. If it starts to blow up again, obviously, then that's something that the community, the county health will talk to us about, and we will perhaps have to change some of our practices. But right now, masks are not required; they're recommended. The social distancing is good, but it's recommended, but it's not required. We are trying to do in-person kinds of things. But again, we would do ask you that if your student is not feeling well, please do not send them to school. We are used to working with kids now that can't be at school for 5 to 10 days, and so we will work with them to keep them on track. But please do not send them here and potentially get other kids sick too. And even if they're not feeling well and it's just the sniffles, you don't know. So because COVID affects people in different ways. So please, for everybody's safety, please keep your kid home, and then just let us know. And if you need some help and support, we can talk to counselors, you can talk to your administrator, any of those folks. So someone put in another big long question about, I heard a rumor about a joint junior senior prom, and kind of went on a long rant about how that would not be great. We have heard that rumor too, and not really sure where or why it came up from, although I have some guesses. We currently have 2 separate dates on our calendar that are scheduled for a solo junior prom and a solo senior ball. So we do not have something on board right now that says we're going to do both. The seniors actually have a location already picked out and paid for. Juniors do not, but they're looking. Juniors are also need to do some fundraising right now because they're juniors and they haven't had as much time as seniors have had to fundraise. And so they are looking to do some fundraising to get a place. I'm assuming that where maybe this came from is people were concerned that if there isn't enough fundraising that the juniors may have to go with the seniors, but that's not what we have in our plans. That would be difficult to do because that would be a whole lot bigger number, and we need a bigger location, which is not what we have for the seniors right now. And I know that people were concerned last year because we had so many people going to the senior ball that some people didn't get a chance to get to the senior ball. And so we're hoping that doesn't happen again this year, but we're definitely been planning for that. And again, we've never sold out a senior or junior prom in my time here. So I'm not sure that, hopefully that was just a fluke last year. So we'll have to see what's going on this year, but no rumors. There is a rumor, not true at this point. If it changes, I'll let you know, but that's not how we're planning on moving forward at this point. Thought I would also pick out, sometimes people ask me to say, where can I find these things on the website? So my last thing I do here, and I'm going to do it in a second, is talking about important dates. And you can actually go through and find some of these important dates for you and see. I don't mention everything that's on our calendar because there's a ton of stuff that goes on here. But if you go to our About Us, if you look this number I'm kind of circling around, click on that. It'll give you something that says, bell schedules, calendars, and events. You click on calendar events. and it'll take you to this, what looks like this, which is a calendar, and you can click on each one of these. This is a screenshot, so I can't click on them, but you can click on these and it'll give you information about where they are, what they're starting, or what's going on. And so you can start to see some things that are on there if you want to go for yourself and see what's on there. Because maybe you're interested in going to the girls volleyball game or the girls or boys water polo games. Those will be on there. There's a lot of different things. There's presentations, all those kind of things that are listed on there. So going back to some of our important dates, as you may or may not know, this Monday is a holiday. So there is no school. Because Monday has been changed to our skinny day, where all 7 classes meet. That just means that we're not going to do a skinny day. When we come back on Tuesday, we'll do our regular blocks for Tuesday, Thursday, and Wednesday, Friday. So that's how the schedule just sort of rolls for that one. We just a few minutes ago finished our fire drill, and really the fire department said we did an excellent job, got A+ on that one. So we're super happy that that worked out well. If your students have any feedback that you hear about, please send that to us. We'd love to hear, because again, the point of doing a drill is to catch things that aren't working. And so, no drill is perfect, no emergency goes perfectly, but the idea is to practice it enough so that you can eliminate a lot of those big issues that might happen. And we do have our run, hide, defend drill, which is happening on next week on Wednesday, the 7th. That's going to be another important one. Again, we're doing these really early this year to just try and get them out there and make sure people are aware of our safety procedures. Back to school night is happening on the 7th. It is virtual. There is no event here on campus. There's nothing you have to tune in for at that time, but that is the date that all of our teachers are supposed to have their videos onto their Schoology pages. You may have to have your students show you how to log in, or maybe I can do something with that next week. Or actually, it will be too late next week, but you can log on to Schoology, go to each teacher's page that your student has, and there should be a video there as of 3 p.m. on September 7th. So that'll be there. We're also going to be sending out an admin Zoom too. It's not a live Zoom, it's a recording that we'll send out, and with some information as well too. Also going to promote a program from the foundation. They have a parent ed presentation, and if you want to, it's about High School 101, how to help make your student really successful. Again, that's the website for it right there. If you look at the PowerPoint that I include in the blast, you'll be able to click on it. It'll take you right to the event. Or if you want to just write that down and go to it on your own, that is also okay. You can pause the video and take that there. But again, check out our calendar for any other activities and events that are going on, so that you can see all the great things that are happening. Because we're already the second week into school, and great things are already happening. So thank you again for tuning in and for sending in your stuff. Please send us more questions, concerns, and shout outs. I hope you have a wonderful 3-day weekend with your family, and we'll see you next week. Take care.